in her permission slip reality.
Well, she didn't see them on any other chakras.
So what?
Okay, so it's just the chakras that she was seeing? It's not like it was anything different? Because I'd never heard those words used in regard to placement on a chakra.
Every energy vortex has also associated with it a geometric crystalline pattern.
Okay.
She was simply sensitive to the idea of the geometric crystalline pattern versions of those energy centers.
Okay.
And therefore, that's the way they were perceived.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Another question. I was told by the same woman that I am very connected to the Hathors, which I had never heard of before that moment. And then someone mentioned them earlier.
Yes.
And then I was...
Maybe you two can commiserate.
And also that I am an incarnated fairy. Do you, like,
Well,
what does
in a
that...
sense, not exactly.
Okay, can you explain
There are
what
many
they mean?
beings that do have cross connections to the idea of nature spirits, the nature spirit dimension and realm, which does contain an expression of consciousness that you would recognize as the kind of ideas you're calling fairies and such.
Okay.
So you have cross connections to it, but again, please remember, the idea is that all incarnations exist simultaneously.
Right.
So reincarnation can be had as an experience, but it doesn't mean that you actually become one thing and then another. The idea is that you're cross-connecting to another simultaneous coexistence in the idea of the nature-spirit level of consciousness, and you're forming associations to that because it has relevance in this life for you in terms of expressing that kind of energy on your journey, on your path.
Okay.
That's some of the colors on your palette, in other words.
Okay. And one last question. I was talking with my friend Concha earlier, and we were talking about waking up in the morning and feeling restless, like my heart is fluttering, and like there's something I'm supposed to be doing, something that I'm missing, something that I'm forgetting. What does that come from?
That could come from any number of things. Are you forgetting something?
Oh, you were actually asking me.
Yes, I was actually asking a question.
I don't know. I've kind of always had this feeling of like there's something missing.
Something missing.
But I don't know what it is, and I don't... Does that make any sense?
You may be feeling the idea simply of the urge, the magnetic urge, the gravitational urge toward more of yourself. But if you relax into the trust that your life unfolds in perfect timing, that anxiety or antsiness may subside. You're not missing anything. Remember, all appointments, in a sense, have been made. The only way to miss an appointment is to spend time worrying that you're going to miss the appointment. Otherwise, the appointment can't be missed.
Okay.
So, if you feel like you're missing something, forgetting something, trust the way your life unfolds. Trust the synchronicity in your life as to how it's going to appear. It will always remind you of something you truly need to know. Always. And if you relax into that certainty, you will always get the reminder. But if you are concerned about it, if you focus on the concern, then you're going to block its ability to give you that information when you need it.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes. And I just remembered one other thing I wanted to ask you about.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is my first time seeing you, so I don't know if this is like your thing or not, but
My thing.
I have been having a lot of problems with my shoulder, and someone did a healing thing on me, and she was saying that there is an energetic reason for the problem
There
that I'm
always
having.
is. And
But
there's also
she couldn't-
sometimes physiological ones, but that
Yeah.
doesn't negate the idea that it usually starts in some way, shape, or form energetically.
Okay. Do you have
Are
any...
you carrying too much on your shoulders? Are you shouldering too much in life?
It's very possible. I've
Well-
been one of those people that is always doing too many different things at one
Well,
time.
there you go, and there
So-
comes your anxiety as well.
Okay.
Your antsiness.
Okay.
You think you don't have enough time,
Yeah. Exactly.
but you do. You have the perfect amount of time.
Okay.
Anything that you don't get done, when you are acting on your highest excitement, it is also the organizing principle of your life. And if you keep acting on the thing that excites you the most to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can until you can take it no further, and then act on the next most exciting thing, and the next, and the next, and the next, in whatever order they present themselves to you synchronistically, whatever doesn't get done at the end of the day didn't need to be done.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
You really need to have more trust in the way your life unfolds. You cannot go through life feeling like you're missing something, like you're not doing enough. Otherwise, anxiety and antsiness will be what you experience your life to be. Stop trying to shoulder so much. Stop putting so much weight on it, and you'll relax. Now, you can certainly take advantage of body workers to help you with this, but the energy must also change. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
So you don't need to shoulder so much. Whatever it is you truly get done will be sufficient unto the day. Yes?
Yes. Okay.
Remember, 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 you are an infinite, eternal being. What's your rush? You exist forever. If it's not done now, it will be done later.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Yes.
You can't really miss out, except by worrying that you'll miss out.
Okay.
That's the paradox, that's the irony. You follow?
I do. That makes me feel a lot better.
Why, thank you for choosing that path.
Thank you so much, Bashar.
You're welcome.
Good day, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
And good day to everyone here. Thank you all for co-creating with us. Are we still pitching? Is that process still happening where people tell the story that began last year? Is that completed? Do you remember that?
Yes, nothing is ever necessarily completed. If you feel that there is a necessity in pitching, you may if you wish.
I don't feel that it's necessary.
Why did you bring it up?
Because you mentioned how statements open doorways, and that reminded me of the pitching because it's a series of statements.
Yes.
So
It was for the purpose of opening those doorways.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll open some doorways.
Oh, all right.
Does that sound fun? Yeah. Okay.
Of course.
So I have had the opportunity of several of my dreams coming true at the same time, synchronistically, of working with a teacher, working in my community, and working with my friends to help generate actions of kindness.
All right.
And I kind of would like to hear your thoughts on the spiritual energy of actions of kindness.
Well, again, the idea is compassion. The idea is knowing that you are perfectly fine, that you are self-empowered, and that the greatest act of kindness is the reflection to others that they also can choose to be self-empowered, that they are aspects of the infinite, that they are unconditional love, that they are worthy and deserving of anything that they can imagine. This is the ultimate act of kindness, is to help reveal to them the potentiality and the possibility and the probability of who they truly are as a reflection of all that is. Because you are self-empowered enough to know that you will never be threatened by someone being their true self. Thus then, in that sense, you are free to help others, by example, also choose to be their true selves and know that all fits and all works together and all is harmonious when each and every individual is utterly and totally validated as that individual. Then there is true harmony.
Thank you. These actions have seemed to give a lubricating thank you, quality to group dynamics.
Yes, of course they will.
And so we've been experiencing how these actions of kindness in a growing group can create this dynamic of harmony.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing
you.
that. I was curious also about the spiritual energy of laughter.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. Your so-called Big Bang was actually a big joke. It was a big laugh. It was a big aha! It was a big realization, and the cosmic joke is that it was there all along, and yet until realized, it was inert.
So knock-knock jokes open doorways too?
Absolutely. Because when you're willing to ask who's there, you're open to receiving more information about yourself in the unknown.
Thank you.
So by all means, knock, knock.
Who's there?
You.
You like the rainbow, all the colors, H-U-E? It's a synchronistic word with many meanings, I've noticed. You.
Yes.
I was also interested in the human experience of beauty. I've heard that it being very unique because we can have these other experiences of not beauty, that beauty stands out on this planet, and I was wondering if you could talk about that.
Well, it's really the idea of resonance in relationship. What you would call certain kinds of golden proportions that are representative of the overall resonant relationship of all that is to all its components. Does that make sense?
Yes. Is it unique, or do you experience?
I said all that is. In relationship, resonantly, proportionately to all its components. Thus, we are certainly one of the components of all that is. And thus, that relationship, in its very nature, is beauty.
Okay, that might take a while to sink in.
Oh, all right. Whatever amount of time it takes, I'm sure will be beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bashar, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Nania, we are closely approaching the time for your holotope experience. What remains for this in terms of questioners? All right. All right. You know how much we love threes. Number one.
Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
I'm so excited to see you.
So
or to
are
meet
we
you.
to interact with all of you.
Yay. So I just want to say thank you so much for giving me all the permission slips that have brought me to this.
I made all sorts of suggestions. You were the one that gave yourself the permission slip, so we thank you.
Oh. Well, I don't really have too many specific questions, I guess, but I just maybe wanted to ask you your interpretation of an experience I had.
Such as?
Well, it was during a very deep meditation,
Yes.
and I was basically dissolving what I saw in front of me into like particles and,
Yes.
and basically taking away any color, or shape, or form and just seeing it as particles. And then I felt like if I could remove things that no longer needed to be there, things that were like maybe too dense, and I just like took an eraser and then I opened my eyes and everything was like way bigger.
Yes.
And so it was more kind of spread apart, and it was as if there was like no shadows
Yes, we
in
understand.
the room.
You
So I
took
think it was
yourself-
like a
yes.
higher or lesser density.
Yes.
Is that?
Yes.
So if you're really super dense, is that like, that's kind of why you would want to live in a life that's not free-flowing just because it suits you better?
The idea of density is so that you can experience change. Remember, in timelessness, you don't experience change. The only way to experience discovery, newness, change is to have the experience of density that includes space and time.
Okay.
So that's how all that is experiences the process of becoming all that is instead of just being all that is.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to maybe ask is, so is the next kind of aspect of understanding time and space would be to kind of take away time so that you would understand all things happening at the exact same moment,
Well,
right?
in your physical reality, you will not necessarily continue to have an experience of all things happening at once.
Right.
But you can certainly stretch that a bit and experience more things happening at once, yes.
Okay.
In a synchronistic way.
So the next level kind of up from that, is that it, like I kind of see it as maybe like stories that we would all be little aspects.
You are already
Of the
stories.
gods,
You are
or,
telling
yeah.
yourself stories. You are living stories. The idea now on your planet is to change the story you're telling yourself.
Okay.
Self-empowering stories are now the vogue.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
Yes.
Um,
Instead of stories of tragedy and lament.
yes. Totally.
Oh, woe is me.
Oh gosh.
Now it's, oh, wow, it's me.
So I watched lots of your just transmissions, and I hadn't ever come across anything on the counterparts or the hybrid children. So
Well,
I'm
then
wondering.
you haven't come across
I
those
just-
transmissions yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But they exist, and you can find them if you will ask the people that know where they are.
Well, I will. But
All right.
I wanted to ask you
Yes.
what you think about if I have any of those things. Or where, or how many, or whatever, because that sounds interesting. I just wanted to, yeah.
It may sound interesting, but at the moment, it's not relevant for us to give you that information.
Okay. Fair enough. Also, I just want to ask you one personal kind of question. If I'm actually creating a documentary right now on the evolution of consciousness with
All
my
right.
boyfriend, and we were really hoping that maybe we could talk to you at some point and maybe interview you for it. So
We will see.
we'll see.
We will see.
Okay.
Synchronicity
Yes.
will make itself known.
Well, it's brought us to this point here.
Yes, it has.
So
And
we're
it
glad.
will take you further. But we will see.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Number 2.
Hello, Bashar.
And a good day to you.
I think I'll start with the question about, I guess my questions will be around how to get into a better contact with my true self and trusting it.
I already gave you the entire formula.
I'm sure you did.
Act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you can so
Right.
you can take it no further, with absolutely no assumption, insistence, or expectation as to what the outcome ought to be. And if you understand that if you have the expectation as to what the outcome ought to be, you're actually limiting the chances of experiencing something even greater than you can imagine, one would think that would be reason enough not to do that.
Thank you.
Is that not reason enough?
Can you say that last part again about reason?
If you understand that putting conditions on the outcome is actually limiting what outcome could happen, one would think that you would stop putting conditions on that outcome, knowing that it actually limits you
Right.
from what you could be experiencing. If you know that, wouldn't you stop doing that? Isn't that logical?
Yes.
Well, if you're not doing that, then you have to ask yourself, what is my motivational mechanism for doing things I say are not what I prefer to do? What belief system do I have attached that's making the thing I say I would prefer seem to be the thing I don't, and the thing I don't seem to be the thing I do? Because it's all about what you believe to be true that you go to and go away from. When you believe something's to your benefit, you always act in that direction. When you believe something is not to your benefit, you always move away from that. Always. Without fail. Without fail. So if you're not moving in the direction of what you know would be to your best benefit, that can only mean you have a belief system that is somehow making it appear to not be to your benefit. So find out what that belief is, let it go, and then it will appear to be to your benefit, the thing you prefer, and you'll move toward it. You'll act on it. You'll understand why you're doing that. Does that
Correct.
make sense?
Yes.
Is this
does.
helping?
I think so.
Anything else?
I guess what's coming up is what purpose is it serving me to continually insert doubt into my decision points or choice points?
Well, what are you getting out of it? Again, it's the same question.
Right.
You don't do things you don't believe you're getting some benefit from. And watch your definition. You know what the definition of doubt is from our point of view, yes?
I don't know if I do yet.
Doubt is not a lack of trust. Doubt is a 100% trust in a definition you don't prefer. So why would you trust in something you don't prefer? That's what doubt is. I trust this more than that. There is no such thing as a lack of trust. You're always trusting something to be true. If that were not so, you wouldn't have an experiential reality. So the question is not, how can I learn to trust? The question is, what am I putting my trust in? Something I don't prefer or something I do? Both will work. Both will be reinforced by creation. Both will be supported. It's up to you to decide what you prefer and find out why you would be putting your trust in something that you don't prefer. The only reason you would be doing that is because you're defining that thing as something that serves you better than the alternative.
Right.
Find out how you're defining it that way. You'll see that it's nonsensical and illogical when you finally bring that definition to light, and when you see that it's nonsensical, you'll let it go. You'll say, this makes no sense. And once it makes no sense, you'll stop doing it. Yes?
Yes. Thank you.
Does that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Does it sound sensible?
Yes.
All right. Does that make it seem doable?
Yes.
Are you sureable?
Almost.
Not so sureable?
It's a lot easier to hear it sitting down in the chair than standing at the mic for some
Why
reason.
do you define that as true?
I don't know.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
You don't have to answer me. You can go sit down again if you want.
I have one more question.
Yes. So you prefer to remain on the hook?
Yeah, I'll
All
change
right.
the topic though.
Oh, all right. She thinks she's changing the topic.
So I had an experience once where
Yes?
I had it, the question was posed, ask yourself about the mystery that you are.
Yes?
And I looked internally and to my left, and it seemed that there was this aperture that opened.
All right.
And all I
And?
could sense in this brief kind of moment was this very energized kind of kaleidoscope of colors
Yes.
that was spinning, and it was almost like it wanted to press out of this
Yes.
opening.
Yes. But it wasn't an opening.
I don't know what it was.
It was a mirror.
Okay.
You were looking at your true self. That's what you really are, all of you. Kaleidoscopic color, energy, consciousness, beautiful brilliance. That's what you are. Give in to it. It's what you really are. You were looking into a mirror. A similar thing will happen in the holotope meditation, because the holotope in some senses is like that kaleidoscopic image. You're looking at a mirror of your true self, your energy self, your consciousness self, your symbolic, reflective, true, vibrational, unconditionally beautiful, loving self. That's what that is. It's like, here, take a peek. This is really you. You looked into the truth of yourself. Yes.
Yes.
Does that help you?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 3.
Good day to all of you, Bashar.
And good day to all of you.
Are we of the same oversoul?
No.
Is there anyone in this room of the same oversoul?
As you?
Yes.
Yes.
Is my wife that person, Gautami?
One of them.
Can you explain that?
There are more than one expression of the same oversoul that you are connected to in the room with him.
Is one of them my wife, Gautami?
I already said yes.
Okay. And there's someone else.
There are others. I have now given you an Easter egg hunt.
On September 27th in 2007, in Abidjan, Brazil,
Yes.
in front of John of God,
Yes.
I received a work that I call the Divine Diamond.
Oh, all right. How exciting.
You were just talking about it.
Yes.
And our work is about connection in the Trinity. We work with the Trinity.
That's actually what creation expresses itself as. You say polarity, you say duality, but it's actually a trinity.
Exactly, exactly.
Because the idea is that there's always a balance point between the two poles.
Yes. In my work with my wife,
Yes.
being of the same oversoul,
Yes.
it gives us a wonderful and amazing ability to create an energy field.
Yes.
And
You have resonant reinforcement.
yes.
Yes.
I work also with tachyon energy, which I have found extremely supportive in making connections, opening communication. Do you have anything you could say about tachyon energy, the way it's held in glass, the way we can use it as a focal or communication?
It can be focused in glass. It's a little bit more stable in crystal.
Yes, silica.
And it's exceedingly stable in diamonds.
Okay. And do you find that it is supportive to our ability to access our multidimensionality and working sort of in that way?
Of course, it can function as a permission slip for that, since that is how your mind and frequencies are oriented.
Yes, and it is like communicational as far as programmable. You can communicate with it. It's intelligent.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Everything is intelligence. Everything is consciousness.
Yeah.
You're using the idea of the matrix in that sense to structure information in a way that is both implantable and retrievable by the particular resonance that you yourself express. So it is in that sense simply a permission slip that is designed to resonate in harmony with the way you choose to express yourself, the way you do things energetically.
Yes. In the work that we do, the focus is on the oversoul connection.
Yes.
What I see the higher self as is sort of the communicational portal or
Yes.
way the oversoul would communicate.
Well, yes, it
And-
has to come down through the individual soul to the higher mind,
Yeah,
which
the
then
higher
goes
mind.
through the template level reality to the physical mind. But yes,
The higher mind and the higher self are one and the same in most cases.
Generally speaking, yes.
Yes, okay. And I have been moved deeply by your latest commentaries
all right.
of sending, if we send energy out through our oversoul expressions, like through a tree, through the branches of our tree.
yes,
It seems if we light up our tree, it gives us much greater ability, therefore, to focus our energy possibly on another oversoul expression or to
Yes.
do, yes.
because you have illuminated the branches, and thus it
Yes.
makes it easier to see how it's connected to other things.
Yes, okay. I would like to ask, I had a dream once that there were three beings that said, see his light, he's Arturian. My only memory of that is that's the first planet that I actually ascended on.
It's not a planet.
What was the
It's an
Arturian?
interdimensional energy gate, an interdimensional energy state that is representative of a particular vibration that many souls are taking on or connecting to on Earth at this time, because the vibration is conducive to not forgetting as much of who you are in physical reality.
So there's a connection, obviously, with Arturia
Yes.
and myself. Okay. My wife seems to think she's connected with Venusia.
Again, this is not in your physical reality. This is something that exists in a different dimension.
Yes. And
But it
this
is kind of a similar idea, but it's connected to the vibration of compassion, the vibration of understanding, and the vibration of love.
Yes. I would also just like to know, I hear a lot about the Pleiades, and I'm always curious about the connection between the Pleiades
Distant
and Syrian
Cousins,
system.
distant cousins,
And what are the Syrian...
offshoot of the ancient Anunnaki.
Yes, and the Syrians, how are they related to the Pleiadians?
There has been some mixture, but initially speaking, it was not a direct lineage. But on higher dimensional levels, there is a great connection. And non-physical levels, there is a great connection.
So they're completely, in some ways, independently evolved.
Yes,
Yes. Okay.
but there is a connection
There is
on the non-physical level.
Was Christ from Sirius?
Christ was from Earth.
Was his oversoul connection, or was Sirius involved in some way?
Yes, there were serious vibrations and many other vibrations in what you call the Christ consciousness, which now is represented by the collective vibration of your entire planet, as
Yeah.
well as the Krishna spirit, the Buddha nature,
Yeah.
any such idea.
Yes. I'm very lucky to be actually right now at a retreat with Amrita Nandamayi.
All right, well, luck had nothing to do with it.
Yes, well, she is the embodiment of compassion and love. What would you say about her as a human, obviously, incarnation? Amma.
We would say she is beautiful in many different ways. The essence of beauty, of what we were talking about before. The proportional relationship to all that is. The resonant relationship to all that is.
Yes,
Of all of its parts,
yes.
in that sense.
I want to
There will now need to be a shift in transmission.
Yes, thank you very much, Bashar.
We thank you.
Thank you.
At this timing, you may take a very short break. We will resume transmission for the holotope meditation.